श्रीगणेशाय नमः। श्रीसरस्वत्यै नमः। श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पाद शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं। शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। योऽन्तः प्रविश्य मम वाचमिमां प्रसुप्तां सञ्जीवयत्यखिलशक्तिधरस्वधाम्ना अन्यांश्च हस्तचरणश्रवणत्वगादीन् प्राणान्नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यम्। सुखं नित्यं स्वप्रकाशं व्यापकं नामरूपयोः अधिष्ठानं बुद्ध्यबोध्यं बुद्धेर्दृग्यत्तु निर्मलम् अपारं सर्ववेदान्त वेद्यं प्रत्यक्परं महः तदेवाहं न मत्तोऽन्यत् इति मे निश्चिता मतिः। We have taken for analysis the objections which have been raised on the mumukshuta is not there. Why? Because the definition of moksha itself is wrong and adhikari itself is not there. In that we had seen that desire for the earlier part of the definition. What was that earlier part? Desire to destroy ignorance along with its effect, which is creation, will arise for the sake of removing sorrows. So to remove sorrow, person will desire to gain Atmajnana. Now on the similar basis, another argument was raised. Person will desire to know something which he already knows, or person will desire to gain something, because we had defined that atyantika dukkha nivrutti paramananda vapti, total removal of sorrows and gaining of happiness. On this gaining, objection has been raised. What is the objection? The objection is a person will try to gain something which he knows about or which he has experienced earlier, and on that answer was given the earlier part that person does not desire. That rule is wrong. We never desire for something which we have experienced, but we desire which is similar to that earlier experience. We never desire for that same pakoda which we had eaten earlier, because it's already gone, we already have accepted. But another pakoda which will taste in the same way, which will give me experience in the same way, such an object is desired. That's why if I know aloo pakoda, then when somebody tells me about a different type of pakoda, because I know a reference frame, another pakoda, I will desire for that object. Based on this, because it is sajatiya, there is similarity between them. On account of similarity, person will desire for something which is similar, and it was connected with destruction of ignorance with gaining of knowledge, in the way that person has seen that superimposed snake, a snake which was misunderstood. Sorry, the rope was misunderstood as snake. Snake is misperception, misapprehension. misapprehension. That misapprehension goes away only when its basis, rope, is seen. If such is the case, And if this world is misapprehension, is false, mithya, apparent reality, then it will be destroyed only when its basis Brahman will be known. And that's the only way by which sorrows can be removed, because that ignorance, because of which I am perceiving this entire creation, is the cause of all my sorrows. And only when that root cause is removed, its effect shall be removed. Now, the next object is being raised, or the answer to that next object is being given. Yattu uktam, yattu uktam, yattu uktam. That which you had said earlier. प्रागनुभूतस्यैव वस्तुनः प्राप्तीच्छा जायते. प्रागनुभूतस्य एव वस्तुनः. वस्तुनः of that object. Which object? Praganubhutasya eva. That which has been experienced earlier. The object that has been experienced earlier, praptichha, the desire to gain that object, arises. One will desire to gain an object which has been experienced earlier. This is what you said. You further added that ब्रह्मणः तु केनापि अननुभूतपूर्वत्वात् तत्प्राप्तिरूपे मोक्षस्य द्वितीयांशे न कस्यपीच्छा जायेत इति. ब्रह्मणः तु, but that Brahman, केनापि अननुभूतपूर्वत्वात्, nobody has experienced that Brahman beforehand. Because nobody has experienced that Brahman before, tat prapti rupe mokshasya dvitiyanshe, the second part of moksha, desire to gain Brahman. Nobody can desire to gain Brahman. Why? Because nobody has experienced Brahman earlier. Na kasyapi ichha jayeta iti. So nobody can desire, nobody will desire, or nobody shall desire. What this was your argument, tad asat, that is wrong. Straightforward, he just clarifies, whatever you have said is wrong. How can you say so? Sarvaihi sukhasyanubhutatvat sarvesham tatrecha jayate. Sarvaihi sukhasya anubhutatvat, because everybody has experienced happiness. Because anubhutatvat, sukhasya anubhutatvat, because everybody has experienced happiness. Tatra, tatra kutra, where? In gaining Brahman. Ichha jayate, desire shall arise. To all, sarvaihi, by everyone, that Brahman will be desired to be gained. Why? Because everybody has experienced happiness earlier. The clarity will be given in next slide. In the tippani we will see that Brahmanaha cha nitya niritishaya sukhaswarupattvena sarvavedanta prasiddhatvat साधन चतुष्टय संपन्नस्य उत्तम अधिकारिणः सुखस्वरूप ब्रह्म प्राप्तिच्छा जायेत एव. Because Brahma is nitya niratishaya sukhaswarupa. Because Brahman is of the nature of unsurpassed happiness. Sarva Vedanta prasiddhatvat. It is Sarva Vedanta prasiddha. Prasiddha, well established or well known. Both translations can be taken. It is well established throughout Vedanta and it is well known via Vedanta. Sadhana chatushtaya sampannasya uttama adhikarinah. The one who is sadhana chatushtaya sampanna uttama adhikari, of that person sukhaswarupa brahma prapti ichha, there is a typo, Sukhaswarupa Brahma Prapticha. That Brahman which is Sukhaswarupa will be desired, or he shall desire. What is the essence? Because everybody has experienced happiness earlier, Brahman is of the nature of happiness, happiness is its swarupa. The sadhana chatushtaya sampanna adhikari who is wise will desire for its source but and not for its effect. And because he will desire for its source, he will desire to gain Brahman. Here again in Tippani, what we had seen earlier has been repeated again and added. It is very beautiful analysis because actually in reality we go through these analysis somewhere or the other during our life. But the only problem is we don't stick to this analysis. Let's see what author has to say. Yadi anubhuta samanye इच्छा जायेत इति नियमः तर्हि पूर्वानुभूते प्रतिकूले रोग तन्निमित्त दुःखादौ च इच्छा आपद्येत. If, as per your statement, if this was the rule, anubhuta samanya ichha jayeta, whatever that has been experienced is desired. If this was the case, if this was the rule, then purvanubhute pratikule, purvanubhuta, that which has been experienced earlier, pratikula, that which is not conducive. Actually, pratikula is a very beautiful word. Kula means bank of the river. Anukula, anu, that means that which is along with. So the same bank on which I am standing, and pratikula is the opposite bank. So that which is contrary, non-conducive. Which is not is non-conducive here? Roga tannimitta dukkhadau. Roga, diseases, sickness, and the sorrow caused by all those. Ichha apadyeta. People will desire for sorrow also. Will they not? Why? Because what's the rule that you have stated? People will desire for something which they have experienced earlier, but that is not seen. That's not how we see. What do we see? Natu tatha loke drushyate. Nobody desires for anything that is non-conducive, that which they do not go along with, that which is sorrowful. Tasmat anukule prag anubhuta sukha तत्सजातीय तत्साधन सजातीये एव इच्छा जायते इति एव नियमः. Tasma, therefore, that which is anukula, which is conducive for me, prag anubhuta, that which has been experienced earlier. What has been experienced earlier? Sukha, happiness. Tat sadhana sajatiye. A sadhana, a means which is similar to those means which gave me happiness, or similar happiness. Desire will arise for different means or similar means by which I will experience that same type of happiness. This is the niyama, this is the rule. We do not desire for everything that we have experienced. We do not desire for that which we have experienced, but we desire for those things which are similar to those earlier experiences. And not just that, we desire for those experiences which were conducive to us and not contrary. How is this connected with the argument? Brahmananda pratibimba bhuta vaishayikam sukhancha sarvanubhava prasiddham. वैषयिक सुखम च सर्वानुभव प्रसिद्धम. That Vaishayika Sukha has been experienced by all and well known. It is well established. Anubhava Prasiddham. Again, this is experientially well known. Everybody has experienced that Vaishayika Sukha, those sense pleasures. And those sense pleasures are the reflection of that Swarupa Sukha. It is just the reflection. How it takes place, how it appears, that analysis we will do. But before that, tatascha, therefore, tat sajatiya bimba bhuta. Tat sajatiya, similar to that bimba bhuta, that which is the original and not the reflection. Nitya niratishaya dvitiya brahmanande. That happiness which is nitya, eternal, niratishaya, unsurpassed, advitiya, one without the second, that in that brahmananda sarvesham ichha jayeta eva. Everybody will have desire or shall have desire to gain. In simple sentence, because that brahmananda, that sukha of brahmananda is original, of which Vishaya Sukhas are reflection. So because everybody has experienced those Vishaya Sukha, the reflected happiness, people will desire for that original happiness eventually, which is Nitya, which is eternal, which is unsurpassed, and which is one without the second. Now, what is this Bimba Bhuta Ananda and Pratibimbita Ananda? The reflected happiness and the original. Let's understand an example and then we will go with the analysis further, because this is a very important and beautiful concept. So you have a wall on which okay, let's reel back earlier. Now there are those dresses on which different glasses or mirrors are stitched into. So I have a belt on which different mirrors have been stitched in. I put that belt outside in sun during afternoon time, say, or before afternoon. So that sun rays are reflecting from those mirrored that belt onto a wall in my house. Now let's say if that wall is continuously moving, let's just imagine if that wall is continuously moving, will I see the reflection of those sun rays on that wall? No, because the substance or the substratum on which it is going to get reflected, that substratum is not sthira. It is continuously moving. Imagine in a movie theater, that movie screen which is in front of us, it kept on moving. Will we be able to see that movie? No. Now when that wall, because it is steady, when that wall becomes steady, it is sthira, we see those reflections and we know that it is reflection because we can see the difference between them. From the general light which is available, that reflected light can be differentiated. In the same way, when we are experiencing an object which is conducive to us, same thing happens. There are different steps in that experiencing of happiness. What is happening is there are three steps in experiencing happiness. One is seeing that object in front of me, having that object on my hand with me, and experience of that object. Seeing that Ishtavastu Darshana, Ishtavastu Prapti, and Ishtavastu Anubhava. Now, when I see, say, let's take a very simple example. I like laddu. I go to a temple and I see laddus are being given as prasad. Now, because I'm standing in a row and I see that laddus are being distributed, I am happy. Now, all my chitta vritti, all my thoughts in my mind are going towards those laddu. Then, when I actually go in front of that person who is giving those laddus and that laddu falls on my hand, I am happier. Why? Because the object which I desired is with me now. So, all those intermediate obstructions which were coming in my mind, will I be able to eat that laddu? Because by the time I reach there, if all laddus are over, what will happen? They may bring another batch of laddu, but will that be the same quality of as this one, or will that be better? Or will they bring different type of laddus? I don't like this laddu. I like this laddu, but I don't like that different type of laddu. All these thoughts are going on. But when you have that object which you desired in on your palm, you are happy. Why? Because nobody is going to take this away from me. But yet, you are not the happiest. And when you eat that laddu, while eating that, you are one with that experience, and when you are one with that particular experience, it is as good as a steady wall. Your mind has become very much steady, sthira. Why? Because all the thoughts in your mind are of same nature, that is experiencing the desired object. And when that happens, the reflection of our Swarupa takes place, it takes very well, or it is the very good reflection of that our Swarupa appears on our Chittavritti's mind. The reflection is much more clearer, and there we experience the Sukha Swarupa of Atma, which is reflected. If all throughout our mind, if that reflection is available, the Pratibimba of Atma, the reflection of Atma is all the time available, then why do we not experience that Sukha, happiness, other times? The only reason is there for that reflection to take place very well, mind is not sthira. And because mind is not sthira, that happiness, pratibimbita, reflected happiness, is not experienced. Then, which is that state where this reflected happiness is available at its best? Later it will be taken in sleep. Because in deep sleep, there are no other thoughts. That's why we desire that deep sleep, that calm, peaceful sleep. Sleep where we don't see any dream, much more. That's why we desire for sleep. Why? Because the happiness which is experienced there is of highest quality. That is what has been referred here. Pratibimba bhuta vaishayika sukha. Vaishayika sukha, the experience gained from sense pleasure is vaishayika, born of object, experience of those object. While experiencing those, our mind is sthira, steady, and in that steady state of mind, reflection is much better. That's why we experience our Atma Swarupa, that Sukha Swarupa Atma in reflected form. And once we have understood it is the reflection, then we automatically go for its source. It usually happens like while we are sitting in our room, we just see a reflected those rays moving around in our inside our house on the wall, and we seek to know from where it is coming, why they are coming. There must be an object which is shiny outside my window or in my window, and we look for that, and while doing so we also desire for its original source. Here the three steps which were explained earlier, they are called as Priya, Moda and Pramoda. Priya, desire for the object, conducive object, or seeing that conducive object, seeing the desired object, having that desired object for experience, or when that desired object is available for experience, and experiencing that desired object. All throughout, our mind is becoming much more calmer and steadier. Unfortunately, once that desired object goes away, once that experience ends, the agitation of mind comes back, and that experience of happiness goes away. Why? Now mind is no more steady. On this Vishaya Sukha, the objection which was raised is now again being retold and being answered. So far, what we have seen is people desire for something which is similar to our earlier experiences, and not just that, they desire for something which is conducive. Based on that, people will desire to remove ignorance along with its effect for destruction of sorrow, and they will desire to gain Brahman. Why? Because Brahman is Sukhaswarupa, and they have experienced reflection of that Swarupa while experiencing Vishayas. Here, just a side point which has not been taken by author here, but because the topic is going on, let's go through that. In Brahmasutra Bhashya, in Jinyasadhikarana, in Brahmasutra Bhashya Jinyasadhikarana, Acharya has taken the same objection. He raises objection that how can people desire to know Brahman? The desire to know Brahman can never arise. Why? The opponent says, is your Brahman well known or not well known? Is it prasiddha or aprasiddha? If you say prasiddha, nobody needs to desire to know. Nobody needs to know. Why should they? Because it is well known. And if it is not well known, not known at all, aprasiddha, not well established, how can they desire? If it is known, nobody will desire, and if it is not known, nobody can desire, because nobody can desire for an object which is not known to them. That is true. Unless and until I have some idea about that object, I will not desire to know that particular object. Their answer has been given. What you say may be true, but Brahman is there and Brahman is desired. Why? There in detail the clarity has been given. I will just give in the gist of it. Bhashyakara says, do you, because Brahma and Atma is one, do you say that I am or I am not? Of course I say I am. Okay, you say that I am. So you have accepted that you are there. Then who are you? Now there is trouble, because there are so many conflicting views which are available all throughout. Somebody will say I am this body, somebody will say I am these pranas, somebody will say I am this mind, somebody will say I am Ishvara, one way or the other. Now tell me, do you not have confusion and doubts about who you are? Because there are these multiple views which are available. And when those views are available, will you not desire to know who you are? In the same way, Brahman is known as Ekameva Dvitiyam, etc. But it is known in general sense. It is not well known exactly what it is. And to know exactly what it is, person will desire to know that Brahman. And then don't tell me that he has not heard about Brahman at all. He will hear, or he hears somewhere or the other. If he is taking to the study of Vedas, Vedanta, he will of course hear, but otherwise also somewhere he will listen, as was the case with Narada Muni. And somewhere in his life he will desire. So the way you say it is impossible is wrong, because that Brahman is known in general sense, and the person will desire to know that Brahman in detail, what exactly that Brahman is. So desire for Brahman shall arise, desire to know that Brahman shall arise. That's what we had referred to as praptasya prapti, gaining of that which has already been gained. Why? Because we don't know what that exactly is. We have the general idea of that. Now let's move further. Tritiyaakshepasya samadhanam. The now next objection is being refuted. Yattavadabhihitam sarvopi loko vishayendriya sanyogaja sukhameva vanchati. That which you had said earlier, that which you had explained earlier. What was that? Sarvopi loko, everybody, vishayendriya sanyogaja sukhameva vanchati. Everybody desires for that happiness which is born of sense pleasures. Vishaya indriya sukha, sanyogaja sukha. Sukha, happiness, sanyogaja, on account of contact. Contact of what? Indriya and Vishaya. When Vishaya, the sense objects, come in contact with sense organs, Indriyas, on account of their contact, the experience which is gained or the experience of happiness which is gained, that alone is desired. So everybody desires sense pleasures alone. Nahyetadasti mokshe. And this sense pleasure is not there in moksha. Advitiyatvan mokshasya. Advitiyatvat. The reason behind is moksha is advitiya. There is nothing that can be experienced because those objects which can be experienced are not there. Dvaita prapanchayatatvacha vishaya sukhasya. And vishaya sukha, sense pleasure, is dependent on duality. The adhishthana, the basis of ayatatvacha, ayatatvat, based on. Because sense pleasures are based on dvaita, the duality, that is not there, that vishaya sukha is not there in advitiya moksha. Ataha, therefore, adhikarinah mumukshoho abhavat, in absence of adhikari mumukshu, grantharambha nirarthakaha iti. This grantharambha, this beginning to write this text or this text itself is futile. Why? What is the essence of this argument again? Simple. There is no person who can desire for Brahman. Why? Because everybody desires for Vishaya Sukha, sense pleasures. These sense pleasures are not there in moksha. And because these sense pleasures are not there in moksha, nobody will desire for moksha. And because nobody will desire for moksha, there is abhava of mumukshu. And you are writing this text for those who are desirous of liberation. If there is no one who is going to read your text, why should you start writing this text? Because those for whom you are writing this text, they themselves are not there, non-existent. There, the author, this was opponent's part. Now the answer is being given. Tatrasti tavat prashtavyam. Here, this should be asked. This should be thought upon. What is that? Kim mumukshuhu eva nasti kaschidapi iti uchyate uta sati api mumukshau tasya granthe pravrutti eva na jayeta iti. On this statement of yours, I ask this. Do you mean to say there is no mumukshu itself? There is no desirous of liberation itself? Or there is somebody who desires for liberation, but he will not take up to the study of this text. He will not take up this text. What do you exactly want to say? Mumukshu itself is not there, or mumukshu is there but he will not take up this study of this text. Na adyaha, the earlier is not possible. Why? Because sarvesham atyantika dukkha nivruttau niratishaya sukhavaptau cha ichha darshanat. We defined moksha as atyantika dukkha nivrutti paramananda vapti. People may go for sense pleasure, but what they desire is this alone. Atyantika dukkha nivrutti paramananda vapti. Total removal of sorrows and gaining of unsurpassed happiness. That's what is desired by everyone. So to say mumukshu itself is not there is wrong. Because we have given the definition of moksha. There are people who desire for that definition. That means those are mumukshu. So mumukshu is there. So mumukshu itself is not there. That part is gone. Now you may say those people are there, but because people are desiring sense pleasures, they will look for those sense pleasures by which they will gain that unsurpassed happiness without sorrow. On this, I'll tell you. निःशेष दुःख ध्वंस पूर्वक नित्य निरतिशय सुखस्यैव मोक्ष रूपत्वात्. What is moksha? निःशेष दुःख ध्वंस पूर्वक. निःशेष दुःख ध्वंस, as we had seen earlier, destruction of sorrow in such a way that it will not come back. And not just destruction of sorrow, but niratishaya sukhasya eva. Nitya niratishaya sukha, gaining of happiness which is nitya, eternal, and niratishaya, unsurpassed. This is moksha. And the means to gain that happiness which is nitya niratishaya, along with removing those sorrows completely, the means for that have been given in this text. Tasmat sarvepi mumukshavaha eva. Therefore, everyone is mumukshu. People may know or they may not know. People may take up right means or wrong means. Those differences may be there, but because everybody desires for unsurpassed happiness without any sorrow, everybody is a mumukshu. The path they have taken may be wrong. Further, he adds, वैषयिकम एव सुखम सर्वे अभिलषन्ति इति एतत् असमंजसम. Everybody desires for vaishayika sukha, sense pleasures alone. This idea is asamanjasa, half cooked, is very feeble, asamanjasa, born out of ignorance, because you have not really understood what it is. Okay, if you say so, I'll accept. Then what do you mean? What is the exact argument? What is the reality? Kim tarhi? It is said, sarve sukha samanyam icchanti. Everybody desires happiness. Everybody desires happiness. They don't desire the object from which it is experienced, or what type. Say, let's analyze here. Since do we desire pleasure or happiness or sense pleasure? Let's take earlier example, laddu. It's my favorite. So for years together, I have been desiring for that laddu for my happiness. Unfortunately, I have been diagnosed with diabetes, and now I have been barred, I have been restricted from eating anything which is sweet. Now that same sense experience is cause of sorrow. That means I am not desiring to experience sense pleasure. I have always desired for happiness. It doesn't matter from where it comes. Taccha sukham vishayajanyam vastu taditaradva. That happiness may come from sense objects or somewhere else. यदि विषयजन्य सुखमेव इच्छन्ति इति उच्यते तर्हि सुषुप्ति सुखे न स्यादेव इच्छा कस्यचिदपि. And if you say that no, don't bring me into your arguments, I am sure everybody desires for sense pleasures alone. Okay, let's say everybody desires for sense pleasures alone. यदि विषयजन्य सुखम एव इच्छन्ति, everybody desires for pleasures born out of sense objects alone, तर्हि then सुषुप्ति सुखे न स्यादेव इच्छा कस्यचिदपि. Nobody will desire for that deep sleep. Nobody will desire to go to sleep. Why? Because in that deep sleep there is no Vishaya Sukha. No sense pleasure is available. Vishayajanyatvat tasya, that happiness which is experienced in sleep is not born of sense pleasures. Now you have to accept that everybody desires for happiness and not the source from which it is coming. अतः सुखसामान्यम एव सर्वेपि इच्छन्ति. Therefore, everybody desires for happiness in general sense. न वैषयिक सुखमेव इति नियमः, and not the happiness born of sense pleasures. They do not discriminate between the happiness based on its source. They just want to experience happiness. प्रत्युत सर्वेषां प्रत्यहं सुषुप्तिगमनात् स्वात्म सुखेच्छा एव जायते इति वस्तुस्थितिः. प्रत्युत, to add to it, सर्वेषां प्रत्यहं सुषुप्तिगमनात्, everybody desires to go to sleep every day. This itself explains everybody desires to experience happiness coming from our own Swarupa. Why? Because the happiness which is experienced in deep sleep is coming from our Swarupa. What do we mean by that? How do we experience in our deep sleep the happiness coming from our Swarupa, that is Brahman? That we will analyze next time, and the other arguments and its answers, those also we will see next time. Om Asato ma Sadgamaya Tamaso ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritangamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.